maybe who I am. Maybe. Maybe not. Let's assume I can figure out the word out. Okay, so who am I? My name is Emily Leach, born and raised in South Texas, down in Corpus Christi. Spent the last 20 years in the West, living in almost every large city and medium-sized city across the West. 15 years of that was spent in Albuquerque, although I loved it. It was friggin' cold, and I was sick of it. So I packed up my bags last April, May, and moved to Austin. Wasn't willing to move all the way back home. Love my family, I just like distance between them. So here I am, and I totally am loving Austin. I actually grew up an Aggie fan, so I had never even been to Austin. We drove around it. I mean, whatever. And so my son, when I told him, he goes, "What? You're moving where?" Because when he was about 6 years old, we were in a mall. He didn't know any different. He just knew that Texas was a big deal in our life. And he went and picked up this hat that had a longhorn on it. And he recognized that in relationship to Texas. And he picks it up and he brings it over to me and goes, "Look, Mom!" And I took that thing, I ripped it out of his hand, and I threw it down and said, "We do not ever touch that stuff." And he goes, "Oh." And then here I am on the UT campus. He's going, "I'm confused."
You do know that there's a whole generation of women who did not go to A&M, and why?
No.
Because they did not allow women.
Oh, well, I knew that. I thought there was something other.
And I hold a grudge.
So anyway, I've incorporated the two. My inner conflict is gone, and I'm ready to move on. A little bit about my career path. I actually have a degree in civil environmental engineering design. Spent about 6 or 7 years there. Enjoyed doing that. Migrated into network engineering. Spent about 4 years doing that until I got really sick of the cell phone. And then I've spent the last 11 years in internet search marketing. Now, that's a long time to be in this career. So let me give you a little feel for what it was like in the good old days. In the good old days, you could pick up the phone and call Google. Someone answered the phone. You would tell them, "I am creating a site or a page for this key phrase. Could you look at it real quick and let me know if that's going to be approved?" "Yeah, that's going to be approved. You're good." And that was it. That was search engine optimization 11 years ago. Some ways I missed that. But keyword density, we had about 55%. So for if you had 100 words, you wanted to have your keyword in there 55 times.
Wow.
So that's what really took the internet so long to catch on, is because the content that we were writing sucked. It's been really nice to see that migration and have that change. I'm also a public speaker, and I'm also a trainer. So I've been training in search marketing now for like 6, 7 years. And that's what I enjoy the most. There's not a whole lot of us, one, that's been in the industry as long as I have, and there's very few of us that like to get up here and do this. Most of us don't have much of a personality. And I know a lot of them, and I can attest that they do not have much of a personality. Until, we call it liquid personality. You get them to drink enough, they finally so I do a lot of public speaking. I am also the founder of what I call the SEO strategy group. So I will be opening those up in Austin as well. And it is an opportunity for people to come together once, maybe twice a month, for 2 or 3 hours and just have an open work session in regards to SEO. The biggest problem with SEO is people don't stay engaged. So they go to a class, they go to some seminar, they watch a video online, and they rush over and they do something for 10 minutes, and then they wonder why it didn't work. Well, it didn't work for a couple of reasons. One, you didn't spend enough time on it. And 2, you probably tried to do the last thing you learned, and you didn't do all the steps in front of it so that you built the foundation. So my job, although we won't do it all today because there's not enough time, is to teach people the foundation. You can go learn all the advanced stuff, either from me or from someone else, it's just fine. But if you don't have a foundation, you're completely and totally wasting your time and money. Just my 2 cents. So that's what SEO Strategy Groups is about. I'm also the author of a blog called Genetically Unemployable. I suck at being an employee. So me and my friends came up with a term called genetically unemployable. I went and trademarked it, so I win. And I bought the domain and I trademarked it, so, whatever. I'm also the organizer because I absolutely love TED. How many in here are familiar with what TED is? How about TEDx events? Woohoo! So So I am the organizer of one of the largest TEDx events in America, TEDx APQ out in Albuquerque. And I just got the license for TEDx Corpus Christi, so that will be going live on June 1st. And I also just got my confirmation and acceptance to the very first TEDx Summit, which is in Doha. I'm probably going to say this wrong, so English chick, you can get me. Qatar.
So what is TEDx?
TEDx, TED stands for Technology, Entertainment, and Design. It's a very large event that happens once a year. Then they have TED Global, which happens once a year in Scotland. X events are independently organized TED events. So that way we can pull together our own speakers and our own events and do them locally. You just have to get a license. So I don't want to spend a whole lot of time on that, but they are really fun. I know TEDx Austin has already closed theirs off, and it'll be on February 11th. Anybody going to TEDx Austin? Sweet, you got a couple of people. We have TEDx San Antonio, there's one in Dallas, and there's one in Houston too. So for those of you that didn't get vetted into the system, there's other options. Okay. I'm going to take this jacket off because I want to get down and dirty. So I know the two of you that's probably going to meet up with me later and tell me that I'm no longer dressed appropriate. That's okay. I'm used to it. I spend half my time living on a boat, so this is like completely overdressed for me.
You look fabulous, darling.
Thank you. Okay, the first thing that we want to really dive into for rankings on Google, believe it or not, is really understanding our audience. Anybody have any idea why it's so important to understand our audience?
Keywords.
Keywords?
You gotta know how to talk to them so they'll be
Not
listening to
attracting
you.
the wrong people.
Miss Persona Chick?
You need to know how to speak to them.
You need to know how to speak to them. I'm sorry, what did you say?
Be relevant.
Be relevant?
No audience, no purpose.
No audience, no purpose. Anything else?
Know what they're likely to search for and what words they're likely to use for it.
Yeah, so keywords and, okay, but it goes a little bit deeper. I mean, all of those are accurate. The two that are the closest were those, the keyword related ones. We need to understand their pain. Why on earth are they even searching to begin with? So I don't take this personal, guys, but nobody out there cares what your business name is. They're just looking for a solution. So as soon as we can separate from that, and we can really begin to get in and find out what their pains are. So 2 weeks ago we sat here and talked about personas, and all those are fantastic. Make sure you understand what their pains are. Why are they coming to you? How are you going to solve that problem or that pain? So it's kind of a marketing term. So when I say pain, I don't mean physical pain, although it may be. What is it that's making them search? Because here is how I find 99% almost of people try to select their keyword phrases when they're working on their own site. They do keyword research based on the solution. If I knew the solution, I wouldn't be searching. Be willing to look for that pain. You're giving the solution, but you have to be there where the pain is. The other reason that we really want to know these guys is the other side of the coin. And that is the offer. Because I firmly believe, and nobody will ever change my mind on this, traffic is only traffic until it converts. So what is the conversion?
Doing something we want them to do.
It's making them do something we want them to do. The reason I ask that question is a lot of people think a conversion is only buying something. Although awesome. Sometimes sites don't sell anything. They're lead generation. They want to create the relationship or start the relationship. Start a place that we can begin to have a conversation. That would be a conversion for them. Making them go to another page would be a conversion for them. Okay? We also want to make sure our site design matches that persona, that person that we're trying to talk to. Because if you have, let's just take the chick that's doing the Gen Y thing. Let's say that she went out and created a site that looked very frumpy. Do you think she's going to have a connection and those people are really going to stay on and stick? Now, some of them might stay on long enough to go, what the hell? But that's not going to convert, so it's still not of any use to her. So those are the reasons why we really want to get to know our audience. So I want to show you this example right here. One, because it's god-awful. And the other, because I want you guys to really look at this. This is a site that I have done little to absolutely no work whatsoever on. I had a little ebook written for me on how to christen a boat. So when I got my boat, I did all the stuff, and I christened it. And it was a horrific experience. So I decided there's got to be an easier way. I did all the research, pulled everything together, had an ebook written. So I threw this together in about a half an hour one day, and I've done nothing with it in over a year. So what do you guys see when you look at this in regards to my audience?
For women.
It's going to attract to women.
It's too hard to read.
It actually looks religious except for the wine club. Well, they're Catholics.
There's no boat.
Yeah.
Huh?
There's no boat.
There's not even a boat. There's not even water. It's very clean. You can see I'm in, I have, engineering background. So I personally probably need to hire someone to do this because I do everything very clean when I do my website design. What else? There's really not a call to action. I didn't put that in there.
I don't know that that's a book. I don't know what.
The image needs to be updated. So there's a lot of stuff you can learn about your existing site. Go back and look at it with a fresh, clean set of eyes. Or bring a new set of eyes in and have them look at it. And do not take any of it personal, even if it is. It can be the best gift that you can do. So is this going to get us a higher ranking on Google? It could, and here's how. If this is more appealing, more people are going to share it, you're going to get more traffic, and as you get more traffic, your rankings can increase in Google. This is a side step, but it's one of your best ones. It's the stuff that people don't talk about. People want to talk about backward linking, and it's a good tool. We absolutely have to do it. But there's a lot of other pieces that we can do and not have to dig in the trenches and do the same thing everybody else is doing. Do it differently. The next thing we need to do is research keywords. Now, I know a lot of people aren't real fond of doing keyword research. I don't know why it's doing that, so I'm sorry. I'm not real fond of it either. But we need to do it. Why do we need to do it?
You are not your customer.
I love it. You are not your customer.
Not about you.
One of the things I try to get people to do in my classes, and we will do some of this afternoon, is everybody got some of these. This is a fantastic way to, and I can pass more out in the break, so don't worry about it. This is a fantastic way to start getting information from people that aren't you. Ask them, hey, do you mind if I gave you one of these? Write me down 3 words, the first 3 words that come to mind for you when I tell you about christening a boat. I don't care what they are. What if you were to do that to 5 people? You could get some really great information. Not that I always carry these with me, but even standing in line in like Target or Walmart. Seriously, when I first got into training people, I called my classes SEO training classes. Because that's what it was. Damn it. Nobody knew what the hell SEO was. Only half the people could spell it. Just kidding. So you come a long way? So what I began to do is I actually did. I was in line at Walmart one day and I asked the dude, obviously we're going to be there for a while. So I asked the dude in front of me, I said, hey, what does it mean to you to get traffic to your website? He's like, I don't know, I have a website. So I said, okay. So I went to the lady behind me and says, what does SEO mean to you? She said, I've heard it. I said, well, it stands for search engine optimization. What does that mean to you? I just began kept asking questions until I got down to her need. Because there's not many people out there in my world that doesn't need what I have to offer. Even if they're paying somebody to do it. I've had tons of people come through my workshops for the sole purpose of either hiring an SEO or better understanding what their SEO is doing. So I'm kind of one of those where, yeah, tons of people kind of need it. But I really like to focus on solopreneurs and small business. Anyway. So we look at Google results. Then I'm going to show you Google silos. So let's look at some of these. So in Google results, what can I get out of this? I just put in naming a boat. Because for me, that's what christening a boat means. I know there's a whole ceremony, but that's what it meant. So that's where I started. Can I get anything out of this page? I mean, it's just an excerpt, so you don't get the whole, all 10 of them. But let's see, I can get that my competition's sitting there, so I can go to their sites and take a look around, see what they've got going on. I can look at their designs, I can see what's working. I can tell right here that these guys have 10,000 boat names. So it might be worth going after a page where I could put a list of boat names or something to compete with that. Maybe that's something that people are interested in. Ideas, look at this, boat naming ideas. So that could be a term, because people are maybe stuck out there, they don't really even know what to name their boat. I had the name of my boat before I bought my boat. So I named it after my mother after she passed. So I didn't have that problem. Renaming your boat. See, this is a big one. I would have never thought about it. I got lucky about a 30-year-old boat that had never been named. And I was so happy because I was afraid that if I bought a boat with a name, I'd be stuck with somebody else's stupid name. I didn't know that you could rename it. There's an entire process. You know, there's a whole, and hold your head up right. Just kidding. So there's information that we can just get out of doing searches. How many of you are familiar with Google silos? At the bottom of that page we were just looking at, we have what's called Google silos, which are these. There's only 3 on this one. Sometimes there's quite a bit more. This is really great keyword information. We can just pull it from here, or we can click on any one of those and go in. So look at this, naming a boat superstition. Why do we name a boat? Half the people name it for the party. The other half name it because of the superstitions. Especially if you have a sailboat. Because I have to admit, I took my sailboat out before I named it and I was scared. Why? Because I believed in all the superstitions. So there's a whole section of a site that I can pull together, talking about these ridiculous superstitions. So for instance, did you know that right after you name your boat and you do the ceremony, you're supposed to run your boat into the ground 3 times? Seriously.
Does the Navy know this?
I don't know. Sea fishing, naming a boat world, naming rules for naming a boat. There's another good one. This is just a gold mine for you guys. So again, we can click on any one of those and go straight down to the bottom, look at the silos, and see if there's something else. We can also back this up a little bit. We can put in, this is for naming a boat, so I can put in boat name. I can put in sailing boat name. I can put in name a sailboat. I can keep going and going and going on these words that I've asked these people to give me. And then come up with what Google is already showing me people are searching for. We don't get these silos because Google has nothing better to do. These silos come from traffic that Google is already getting for those phrases. Dude, come on. Some of these are long tail key phrases. Long tail key phrases is any key phrase with 3 words or more in it. Those are your best bets. A lot of people tend to not believe that because they don't want to go through all the what they think is the work and the hassle of coming up with a new page every time you come up with another long tail key phrase. But let me share this with you. Although they're not the only one, the largest mommy-baby blog network in the world manages 1 million long tail key phrases. They do not go after any short tail phrases. They don't have to anymore. I'm not saying you have to go out there and create 1 million of them. But if you're willing to go out for the outside terms and start pulling that traffic in and let it trickle in, you continue to build out content. You continue to bring in traffic that's more likely to convert. And as you keep building those and building those and building those, then you automatically start getting the short tail terms. Let that part happen organically. Dude, it's going to take you 6 months or a year anyway. So I usually have people come and tell me, clients come and tell me one of two things. I've got traffic, but it's not converting, so I want to go after more traffic. Okay. Why do you think the new traffic's going to buy anything from you if the old traffic's not? And they go, oh. And then the other thing that they usually tell me is, I want to go after the word pins. Okay, because you sell pins? Like pins or pins or, I don't understand. Or lapel pin, what do you sell? They're like, well, we sell pins. Oh, okay. Writing pins, marketing pins, like he handed me a pin. It was one of those cheap marketing pins, right? That we all know and love. We probably have one in our purse. If you have a purse. So I went and did some keyword research. I said, oh man, this is cool. I found the term, granted this was a long time ago, I found the term cheap marketing pen. Hardly anybody was going after it yet. Lots of people were searching for it. God, I was so excited. Called the dude up and said, you're never going to guess what I found. I found cheap marketing pens. He goes, yeah, I don't want them. But that's what you sell. No, we sell pens. Dude, you're never going to make pens. You're just not ever going to do it. So we ended up going our separate ways because he wanted to be pins. And really what he sold was cheap marketing pins. Anyway, furniture is another good example. If you only sell red leather couches, what's the point of going after couches? Or sofas, whatever people call them now, I don't know.
Your keyword research will tell you.
Your keyword research will tell you that if you're from the South, you call it a couch. If you're somewhere else, you probably call it a sofa. So what do you do there? You try to go after both. Different story. What's the next thing that we want to do? I want you guys to start dominating results. What does that mean? It's a little game we call keyword domination. What does that mean to you guys?
Showing up first on Google for a search, right?
Or the most.
Huh?
The most. You show up the most and the highest.
Or the most. How many competitors do you have on Google? You have 10 for every keyword. So I really don't give a shit about page 2, 3, and 4. What I want you guys to learn how to do is keyword domination. For every keyword, I want you to take up the vast majority of those 10 positions. And you do not have to do it just with your website. You can do it with things like a blog post, commenting on somebody's blog post, using images, using video, using podcasts, using articles that you write, making content for other people as long as you get the byline for it. Social media. Almost every single one of your social media profiles can show up. You got to pick which keyword you want it to show up for. So I'm going to show you an example. Now this is kind of an easy example, but give me a break. I'm in front of 35 people. Emily Leach. I have people search for me by my name, right? They hear me, they see me on something, or whatever. So if you type in Emily Leach, the first one is me. The second one is me. This chick used to be number 1. I finally got her ass down 3 positions. This chick is me. This chick is me. 8 positions out of 10 is me for Emily Leach. Not that I care much, but if you go to the second page, I think I hold 6 positions. If you go to the third page, I hold 4. What are the chances that someone's going to get me mixed up for somebody else? Because see, she's got Yokiko on me. Nobody's going to get that. Okay, so that's just pages. Oh, here, before I go on, let's check this out. So EmilyLeach.com, it's a blog, it's a website. The EmilyLeach.com, that's my about page. This is my LinkedIn profile. This is another part of my LinkedIn profile as you get further in. If you keep going down, my Twitter profile is there. And if you keep going down, my Genetically Unemployable blog is there. I did a presentation for Affiliate Summit. So I have something for Affiliate Summit that comes up. So see, it's not just my website content. If you stay stuck in that spot, that's where you're going to stay stuck. It's not just about your website. Allow yourself to use other pieces of content. Build this out some. Have some fun with it. So for instance, here's a YouTube piece. This is my presentation at TEDxABQ 2 years ago. It'll let me turn that off. I don't really want to play it. So use YouTube. So my YouTube channel shows up. But this is a way to take video, and I know a lot of people are kind of scared of video. How many people are out there are using video? Keep your hands up. How many of you that are using it love it? Wow, I'm impressed, because usually about half of them go down. I'm doing it, but I don't really like it. I am asking you guys, dude, I am begging you guys to really embrace video. It is not as bad as it feels the first time. Here's what I tell people to do. Grab a video, grab a tripod, borrow this dude's, whatever, and just sit in your living room 50 times and start it, say something. I don't give a crap what you say. Say something. Stop it, look at it, go, oh my God. Start it, say that something again, and add a little bit of something to it. By the time you get to 50, whatever that something is will have evolved into something real. Your personality will come out. You will begin to look at the video camera with less of a judgment and more of an eye for what you wanted it to be. All of this can happen in about an hour to 2 hours. So isn't it worth it to your future with online business to take, let's just say 2 hours. Let's round up. In case you decide to get a sandwich in there because it's a little rough. Horse the captain go. 2 hours is all the education you really need to start making pretty decent video. Unfortunately, my favorite camera for this is no longer on the market. It's the Kodak ZI-8. It absolutely rocked. I've got the remote for it, the mic for it. I've got it all. And when that puppy dies, I'm going to cry because I love it. But I'm sure if you guys want to get with Paul, he can give you some better pointers than I could on cameras if you don't already have one. A little bit of a side note, but it was really important.
Just start with your iPhone.
Yeah, start with your iPhone. You know, prop it up on your iPad. You know, turn your iPad around and sit in front of it. It doesn't matter really, because this 50 that I'm asking you to do is just educational. I mean, you might get to the end of it and go, keep that. I go and keep that. And then you go, run real quick and go get the real camera, and then do your 51st one. And stick that puppy out there. Tell me about it. Send me a link to it. You know, put it up on YouTube somewhere. My Twitter is @EmilyLeach. And I'm not real creative. Okay, that Emily Leach search engine result page, this is the bottom of it. Look at the images. Images are search results. The first 3 are me. I'm kind of bummed because they used to all but one be me. So maybe one of those is that Yukiko chick. I don't know who this is, but this is my affiliate summit. And then look at this. Emily Leach Twitter, Emily Leach Albuquerque, Emily Leach Facebook, Emily Leach sample lesson plans. I don't know who this is. 4 of those, 5 of those are me. I'm going to come up in the majority of the results for the rest of those. That is called keyword domination. That is what I want you guys to start doing for at least your top key phrases. Once you get it down, you can turn it into what I call kind of a lifestyle. Then you just do it. How many hours did this take me to do? Honestly, I couldn't tell you because I just kind of did it. I didn't sit down and come up consciously and make sure that this happened. I turned it into what I do. So those of you out there that say you have 3 or 4 websites, this is going to become a little bit more of a challenge for you. And the reason I say that is because I have Emily Leach and I have Genetically Unemployable, and that's just 2 of them that I like. And then I have a couple of clients that, you know, I work with, don't like as much, because I can't connect as much as I can myself, right? You know, I can create my own videos.
I have a question, Emily. So you don't really have to have a website then per se to do search engine optimization.
Yep, you don't.
You can have all these other social media. You can have a Facebook page. You can have a LinkedIn profile.
Yep.
You can be a guest blogger on somebody else's page. You can have a Twitter account. It just depends on where your audience is and what they need.
Yep, and what they will connect with. so you can have a Facebook business page. And I'll tell you, Facebook has openly said, if you haven't seen it, they have openly said that their goal in life is their Facebook business pages is to replace web pages. And if you don't believe that, let's stop and take a look real quick. Walk down the road of Facebook. Remember fan pages? Oh yeah. Is that like 3 years ago? And then they turned into like pages. And then we have, all of us that are in the industry were like, you know, the fan like page thing. That was like a year. You know, we couldn't quite figure it. It wasn't fan pages anymore. It wasn't, we didn't get what to do with them. And now they're called business pages. They're about as bad as MSN, trying to change your name all the time.